Alright, we got a few things that will be covered in this video. First, we're actually going to start with some theory practice because that's how I have it all saved and ready to go. Yeah, the core stuff that you filled out all look good. So what we have now are some progressions just to run through so you get practice with this new idea. So the first page, we have a 6, 1, 7, 3 progression. 6, 1, 7, 3. And then on the other page, we have, zoom in here, we have a 1, 5, 6, 4. And actually, we should have been starting with this. I goofed up. I saved it wrong. Well, I'll try and fix that. Basically, yeah, the 1, 5, 6, 4, we want to do that first. And then we'll go to the 6, 1, 7, 3. So I just got to remember to change how the file is saved. Anyway, so we're going to have lots of no distortion. So basically, lots of clean playing this week. So you can do this with any tempo that you want. 60 is perfectly fine. You can do it a bit slower or faster. But the idea is just get it all, or just one good take for each variation of the same progression. So right now, we have the first way of playing this 1, 5, 6, 4. And we're using the power chord into the first inversion. And we arpeggiate the chords as we hold it. So everything on screen right now is one thing. So you want to play the entire thing, including the repeat, to finish this whole... I do not know how to talk. Lord. Basically play everything you see on screen, including the repeat, and that's one variation of the progression. Stay with that until you get a good take. And then you move on to the next one. And you stay with this until you get a good take. So you can tell when it's the new progression or when the old one is done because it always ends with the whole note. And then you see when the next variation begins, we have that repeat symbol starting out. So again, it's the same progression, the entire file or the entire page done in various ways. So this way you get lots of good experience with the same progression. So play through the first one so you hear how it should go, basically what we're looking for. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the idea. Okay. So, kind of what I was observing yesterday in the stuff you were playing. Yes, following with Guitar Pro did help decrease the swinging, but it did not eliminate it. So it's still there, but it wasn't as bad. I noticed that the strumming was more what we want it to be. It was more accurate when you strummed longer. So instead of having those quarter notes in there. It's when you had the more consistent strumming. So I'm curious how this is going to go. So I have drums and bass for this. And see here we have it set at 140. But what I want you to do is actually use Guitar Pro's like speed building option. Hang on. I'm going to put on this. And then... Alright, so this is basically how I have it set up. So let's say this is off. We got to come up here, and I don't know if this is going to save the settings when I send the file to you. So in case it doesn't, these are the steps we're going to take here. So we got to come up here to the custom values. And so we make sure we select the progressive speed. And then we're going to set it to 25% here. So this has got to be 25%. That's where we're going to start. And then for the step, we're going to put this at 5%. So it is going to be starting off pretty slow. But that's because you did well in strumming eighth notes with the alternate picking very well. So for some reason, I don't know if it's a speed thing or if it's just because it's 16th notes. But the 16th notes, we have the swing thing happening. With the eighth notes, it didn't happen. So yeah, we're going to be starting again at 25%. And this one will be 100%. And this will be at 5%. So the repeat thing here, they just leave it at 1. So that's how it should look. And then if it's done correct, it should look like that. So I do have drums playing at this at the beginning here, and then oh wow, I just noticed I didn't have the crash at the end. Hang on, let's fix that. Glad I saw that. All right. So yeah, when it starts over again, you'll have the drums counting you off here. So what I have programmed is every downbeat will be an open hi-hat. So this way the downbeat stands out more. And then you have closed hi-hats for all the 16th note stuff. Or all the rest of the 16th note stuff. One exception is right here. We have a crash cymbal to signify the start of the whole thing, including the repeat. Now, if you need to, go ahead and adjust the volume of whatever down here. I turned down the guitar a bit because when I was listening back to it, it felt like the acoustic guitar was just too loud. But if you want to turn it up, that's fine. Set it to whatever volume you want for all this stuff. The bass is doing an arpeggio throughout the whole thing. So just kind of help make things sound more interesting, as well as emphasize all the 16th notes you're going to be strumming. So that being said, this is something I want you to really try to get down this week. The way you're going to strum, the way I want you to strum, is very specific. You're going to bend the wrist a little bit. Not a ton, just a little. And you're going to strum like this. Like you are trying to shake water off your hand. Your hand is wet, you're drying it off. So when you're strumming this thing, you're not going to be, how do I want to put it? Like, you won't be strumming like this. You're not going to be using a stiff arm like that. Some arm movement is totally fine because you got to make sure you're going down and up all the way. But for the most part, it's this motion here. So at the slow tempo, it might seem like there's not enough chord changes going on. But when I was kind of thinking about what I want to do with you, this seems like an appropriate progression when it gets going faster. So I didn't want it to be too complicated by the time it's going fast. Now 140 is not crazy fast. It's not terribly fast. but you're strumming 5 strings the entire time, it might be pushing it. And if you don't get all the way to 140, that's okay. So that's going to be one of the interesting things about when you're playing this, like, because you're going to reach a point where you goof up. It'll happen to everybody, right? So let's say you're all the percentage, I don't know, maybe it gets all the way to 55%. And you notice that when it's at 55%, you make a mistake. Well, then what you're going to need to do is obviously stop, because we don't continue on when a mistake is made. We got to play it right. Then you have to change the percentage, starting percentage in the Guitar Pro. So let's bring this back up. So for example, say you make it to 55% and you got to start again. We'll come up to here, click on the arrows over here, go to the custom value, and then change this to the 55. So this way when you start playing again, it'll start at 55%. Yeah, let's put that back at the 25%. So that's how we're going to start. So I'm going to follow along with this because that's starting at 35 beats per minute. That's ridiculously slow. So I'll demonstrate this at the 25% speed and then the 100, well, 25%, maybe around like, I don't know. I'll decide when I get there. Okay. And then, yeah, just let it start all over again. So I really don't know how long it's going to take to get through the whole thing. But, you know, just give it your best shot each day you practice. And watch that strumming. So, yeah, you're going to be working on it with the repeat, too. So we're going to get lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of reps with this. Okay. So I think that was an okay volume. I'll make an adjustment if I have to, but wait. Here we go. 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... That ain't loud enough. Hold on. Alright, from the top. Okay. 3E and a 4E and might be too loud. Turn that down a little bit. Come on. Turn the drums up a tad. Okay. Let's try. What do I want here? Change this to relative speed. So it was 25%. Let's do 50% speed now. Here we go. hoped. I'll try that. All right, anyway, back to the start. Let's try 75% this time. Here we go. Again with this pickup. E4. That's not enough. Oh, man. Okay, and 100% speed for the last demonstration. So, those are the big things to work on, or the things to work on, really. And I just noticed I didn't change the date on the file here. Boom, boom. Okay, there we go. All right, so any questions about what to do here, how to use this stuff, let me know. And hopefully this helps get the swing eliminated. Only one way to find out. All right. I think that'll do it. So yeah, any questions, let me know. I will see you again next week.